Learning anything from this video is going to take you to the next level because I've coached dozens of players in person and I've coached 200 plus online, and I can tell you that you need to improve one of these 5 things to get to the next level. Because after watching every single one of these players forehand, backhand, serve, match play, it's always one of these 5 things that we need to work on first. So if you want to improve, you cannot skip this video. You need to improve one of these 5 things. Let's just get straight into it. Number 1 is footwork, and this is across every single level of tennis. Footwork can always be improved, whether it be footwork patterns, footwork agility, or just your speed in general. Every single player can improve their footwork. For beginners or amateurs, footwork patterns are normally the most important or the most pressing issue. Most people in the beginner or amateur category don't really understand how to get from different positions in the correct way. So for example, your ready position, how to be able to move from there into a semi-open forehand stance. Understanding the correct footwork for that compared to an open stance. As you become better though, it's more about your agility and your efficiency. Understanding when to actually use the open stance. Understanding how to properly push off from an open stance backhand, or be able to use your momentum to recover properly from outside the court. This is where we get to the more advanced levels. Regardless, every single player needs to improve their footwork. So what is a good way to do it? Well, footwork drills, as boring as they are by far the best way to do it. If it's a problem that doesn't seem to go away with more time on the court, then having focused footwork drills is the only way to improve patterns and to improve strings of movement. As we get more advanced and we're learning how to become faster or more agile, then more off-work exercises is needed. This is the exercises that you see pros doing, where they're moving their feet a ton, then doing a sprint, things like that, to be able to build on their explosiveness so it feels very easy on the court. And of course, your regular strength movements so that your return bounds, for example, are much better is always needed at this level too. So depending on your level, you'll have different priorities, but always remember that footwork is king. The second most common problem I see is the serve toss. And we're always fixing the serve toss because it is such an important part of the serve that people find very difficult to really nail and get consistent. So in this section, I want to go through some common mistakes that people have with the serve toss so that you can very easily get rid of them and have a better toss for yourself. So a really common mistake I see is that a lot of players toss way too high on their serve. Some people toss too low too, that's true, and that can be a problem for you. But there are so many players that are tossing too high and it's causing a ton of problems for their timing on their serve. The problem with this is that if you're tossing too high, you're going to be waiting for the toss to enter a comfortable strike zone in this trophy position here. And so you lose all the momentum that you just gained by moving into the court. So that kills your power like crazy. Another very common problem is that your toss goes too far left and you're bending all the way over trying to hit it. Now this can stem from a lot of different reasons, but there are 2 really common ones that might be the reason for your inconsistent toss. The first one is that you take your tossing arm as you move back, you bring it out to the side instead of out in front of you. When you go out to the side, if you toss, then you're going to toss it to the right of you. So instead, you're forced to arc it all the way over and you get a very inconsistent toss. Instead, if you were to keep that toss in front of you, it would arrive directly in front of you, exactly where it needs to be, and you don't need to be arcing it the same way. Another really common reason is that people find it hard to have a consistent toss when they keep this non-hitting hand, this tossing hand, out in space as they move back. So all the way over here, maybe over there, maybe somewhere here. This often leads to an inconsistent toss. And whenever I see this on a player, I normally get them to try and bring it closer to their leg. And what happens is because they have a target for where that hand needs to go, the toss no longer becomes inconsistent and they're able to do the same toss every single time. So give that a go if you feel like your toss is inconsistent and it might just be the breakthrough for you. The third biggest problem with every single tennis player that I have coached is topspin. So many people don't understand why they need as much topspin as they need. Topspin is so key in making sure that your shots go in consistently. Here's a really quick concept I want you to understand. When you're hitting your shot, you either hit with pace or with topspin or a bit of both. You always mix. Hitting with complete pace is very low percentage, and hitting with complete topspin won't go over the net, right? So it's very important that you're mixing between the two. A lot of players, they see the massive shots on the TV from the pros and they think that that is fully pace. But no, there is also topspin in there. Unless it's a shot where Monfils is jumping up and slamming it from higher than the net, they always have topspin on their shots. So here are two ways that you can make sure that you're getting enough topspin on all of your shots. The first one is to make sure that you're making your loop and getting low to high in your swing path. It's super basic, but what happens when a lot of people go for more power is they sort of forget it and they start going back and straight forwards instead of making their loop with either their forehand or their backhand. And the second most important thing to get topspin is your contact, making sure that you are brushing the back of the ball and you're curling around it on that 5 o'clock contact, that 7 o'clock contact for your backhand or your inside out forehands is so important because that is the easiest way to get topspin. So please go out there and be really intentional with your topspin. Always be adding at least a little bit, especially when you're getting aggressive and especially when you're inside the court, and you'll be improving in no time. Now, the fourth biggest problem that every single tennis player that I have coached has had is not getting low enough on the ball. Now, this is normally less of a problem for better players, but most players need to get lower on their shots, especially when they're uncomfortable, when they have to move into the shot, for example. And this goes for every single shot. Your serve, your forehand, volleys, backhand, it doesn't matter. Everyone can get lower because it will normally benefit you. Because a massive misconception is that the legs are only used as much as the upper body. That's completely false. The legs are used in most of the shots and should be the most tired by the end of any of your training sessions. They are the most involved. And the reason why they're so involved is because of your footwork, because you have to be loading with your legs. You need to be rotating with your legs. It's so important. They're just the foundation of everything that you do in tennis, and not enough people pay attention to it. Or they do notice and they go, but I don't bend my legs much, so whatever. No, if you're trying to improve, then leg bend is not whatever. It's absolutely what's holding you back. So if you struggle with this, one of the first things that I want you to do is go out and film yourself and see how low you actually go on any single shot. Serve, volley, forehand, doesn't matter. Every single one. Just film a couple shots and see how low you go. Because maybe you do go low enough, but I can assure you that if you feel like you need to improve your tennis, then that's not the case. Now, from there, you can see exactly how low you actually go and compare that to how you feel, and then realize that you need to feel like your butt is almost touching the ground every time you're hitting a shot. And then once you've figured that out, go and do some exercises, especially in your quads. Those are normally the undeveloped muscles when it comes to trying to get lower with our center of gravity is the quads. So go out, strengthen your quads, strengthen your calves to make sure that you're more easily able to stand on the balls of your feet, and just make sure that those leg bend movements are on point, because as soon as you get them correct, your tennis is just going to skyrocket in improvement. And a quick tip when it comes to any strength movements that you want to do is you want them to be high intensity and explosive, not isolated movements under massive loads. That's not how you train as a tennis player. If you want a free workout program and a 20-page plus PDF program on how you're supposed to train off the court as a tennis player, then join the link in the top of the description. You'll get a bunch of extra bonuses in that community, like a 2-hour tennis course and a free video breakdown by me as soon as you just DM me in there. So hit the link in description. We'll move on with the video, but if you need that exercise plan, go check that out. And the final area of improvement that I've worked on with all of my students is some basic strategy. Now, normally, if you're a higher level player and you're 10 UTRs, then this doesn't normally apply to you, though basic strategy is sort of relative. They normally need to work on some. If you don't know your plan when you're getting on the court, then having a basic strategy to make sure that you're going to win your matches with intention is so important. And it's really not that complicated. I made a half an hour course, just 30 minutes of strategy content, basic strategies. And a bunch of my students were already winning tournaments just because they were able to implement that before they had no idea what they were doing on the court. So getting an understanding of basic strategy does a bunch of good things for your game. Because here's the thing, you can easily beat a player that's actually better than you just by placing your shots better than them, because you're playing two different games. And what placing the ball well also does is it makes them uncomfortable in their correct technique, which means that they'll often break down more times in a match than you will if they're not placing it to you in the correct strategy. So going out there, getting some basic strategy advice will easily help you with your tennis. And like I said, I've got a half an hour course in there that's winning some players' tournaments. So hit the top link in description. I'll be happy to see you in the community. Or you can check out this video here, which is 5 tactics that I wish I knew 10 years ago that would have helped me win more matches. I'll see you in the next video.